Srinath, your voice is not audible, Srinath. No, not audible. Pankaj?
Not audible.
Yeah. No, not audible.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'll go hands free.
Please start. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Srinath, a soft skills and communication trainer based in Chennai. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360's foundational episode LC0204. Leaders Connect 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. Our mission is to invite 1,000+ leaders and create 1 million leaders. Every Wednesday, we come together from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. IST on Zoom Live to gain insights from top management leaders and the last week of the month from authors. And once every quarter, we take it offline in different cities to network, support, and grow together. Because at Leaders Connect 360, we strongly believe that leaders create more leaders. Today, we have our guest speaker, Air Commodore T. Job, Director of Axel, India, in conversation with our panel discussion leader, Shivaleela Annamalai, who is a transformational catalyst and a mindset and manifestation coach. Before we kickstart the episode, a quick reminder. Please keep your videos on for an engaging experience. First-time visitors, check out our WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn links in the chat box to stay connected and grow with us. This episode is being recorded for our community archives. Now let's set the energy high. If you're excited and ready for an impactful session, please drop a thumbs up or a smiley in the chat. Let's see, okay, a few thumbs up. All right, fantastic. And before we go, let me once again introduce our guest speaker, Air Commodore T. Job. Let me also introduce Mr. Pankaj Vyas, Managing Partner, Bija Trainings, who will be interacting with our guest alongside with our panel discussion leader, Shivaleela Annamalai. Without any further delay, let's get started. Over to you, Shivaleela.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srinath. I need to take over from here. Thank you so much. Good evening, one and all. Good evening, everyone. And I welcome you all on behalf of Bija Training, the Master Leadership, and the Leaders Connect. So indeed, it's a matter of pride for us today to have Air Commodore T T Jacob, sir, with us today. And sir, I really feel proud, and you also might be feeling proud with the kind of, air attacks which happened today. So I congratulate you on behalf of a civilian, a citizen. So thanks for being there, sir, and we really welcome you here. And I also welcome our panel discussion, Ms. Shivaleela, who is going to interact with you, sir, today. So before we get onto the floor for the panel discussion, I would like to formally welcome you through a mode of a welcome video. So Arul, can we have a welcome video, please? Thank you so much, Arun. So welcome, sir, and welcome, Ms. Shivaleela, for the panel discussion. Over to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Pankaj. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Can we just unmute for a second and can we just hear some sound? Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, thank you so much. So that serves like a tonic for our discussion today. And a good evening, TT Job, sir. It's a privilege for us to have you over here. And thank you so much for being with us today. We look forward to hearing a lot of insights from you. And I'm sure we are going to gain more knowledge by the end of the session. Okay, so we have a couple of questions for you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, so we would be very happy if you can just, help us with a few of the questions that we have for you.
Yeah.
So since today we're talking about the strategic delegation of leadership, I would like to ask you your point of view. How can strategic delegation enhance leadership effectiveness, especially in high-stake environments like the military sector and the corporate sector?
Now, delegation is not something new, but I would rather talk about strategic delegation. Now, in normal delegation, we always keep, passing on the tasks to our immediate below managers, and we get certain work done. Now, what is the difference between normal delegation and strategic delegation? Strategic delegation takes place only when every single part of that pyramid, there is delegation right to the bottom level, from the top to the bottom level. There is no point my delegating something only to second level and it gets stuck there and there's no further delegation. So that generally is what I had strived for. Now, before I go on, I'd like to tell something about myself. I had joined Air Force after my engineering at NIT Calicut, and from there I had gone on to Air Force. I had worked in transports, missiles, bombers, helicopters, and a variety of other things, but I had never worked on fighters per se. But I did have certain other things like I was in the personal management. I've been in the inspection directorate. We inspected all the factories of Air Force, and I've been chief engineer of Botswana Air Force, and I had also been chief of an aero engine overall factory in Air Force. So finally, when I was I was 33 years in the Air Force. For the first 29 years, I never ever delegated. I had to get all the work done myself. I had to be the first chap there, last chap to leave. And even if somebody else was doing the work, I had to look over the shoulders. So to that extent, I was a workaholic. And, I had hardly any time to look after my own family. Now, yes, I got a very good annual confidence reports which helped me go up to a rank of Air Commodore. Couldn't go further because of my age. Now, that is the time when I was finished about 29 years of service, and I became an Air Commodore. And I was posted as chief of a modern fighter aircraft overall factory. Now, like I said, I've been in every single stream of Air Force except fighters. And here I was posted as head of a fighter aircraft overall factory. What do? I can't obviously poke my nose in the job. So I had been sent for an MBA by Air Force, never utilized it all these years. I said, now is the time to utilize it. So that is the time I started totally delegating everything. And because of the total delegation, what had happened at that time was an older type of aircraft was already being overhauled. The then state-of-the-art aircraft we had to set up an overall factory. The first aircraft was there, the hangar was there. We had some specialists from abroad. We had our own trained people. And everything had to start and it was supposed to be done in 3 years' time. I had 2 years to retire. So the best thing for me to start delegating. So that is how I got onto this, to strategic delegation. Now, it is one of the good things is with total delegation, every person in the chain or the pyramid was empowered. With the result, what happened was that I had just 2 years to retire. At that point of time, this overall factory was fully set up, which should have been taken a much, much longer time. So somebody had to be appreciated. Since I was on top of the pyramid, I got my first award from President of India. Mind you, I was not doing anything specifically of the engineering side. I was merely empowering people and ensuring the full strategic delegation takes place, which I'll talk about slightly later, how it was done. So that was a time when Pay Commission came and extended the tenure of all Air Force officers. I was planning to settle down in Bangalore. I was trying to come to Bangalore, but I was told, no, your experiments with some total delegation and management methods is working. We would like you to continue for another 2 years in the same factory. So I got another tenure, the first time probably in Indian Air Force. And this time I took on indigenization of aircraft space because we are having to make sure that we make this Atmanirbhar, you must have heard in all the papers and other things which our present Prime Minister is pushing. But this was started about 25 years back. But now it's about the full Air Force. That was about a unit or a factory as such. Here, what was done was totally initially we started off with the big engineering firms. They were, wanted a lot of big numbers, which we didn't have. And therefore, that didn't work out. Then we started off with smaller lot. And we started going into various places and getting SMEs, small and medium industries. They came up very well. Thanks to CIA Mumbai, we had a 2-day seminar in our factory where all the people were present who wanted to become. The government is notorious in payment. So after we said what we wanted, the general talk was, yeah, we put in so much money, it takes years to get something back. So I promised them, if you produce an item and within 15 days, your payment will be made, I will ensure I'm putting a fax machine on my table and only number is given to the vendors. If you are able to, if you don't get in 15 days, just send the fax to me. So every morning, if I find there is a fax sitting there, I know somebody has not been paid. After about 50, and they said, yeah, fine. I said, I'll guarantee you payment. And the people took on a lot of, we made a single point cell where everybody could get contact. And thereafter, it started moving forward. After about some time, I got one fax saying that some vendor had not been paid. Both the accounts officer and the accounts officer and logistics officer were pulled up. And I made sure I sent an AMN and the check by hand reached the vendor. The word went around and this started building up quite a lot. And net result was by the end of 2 years, about crores worth of indigenization could take place. The complete avionics of one of the lead aircraft could be indigenized totally. And there again, it was time for me to retire. The factory had done well and country had gained a lot in foreign exchange. And that's where I got my second award from President of India. Again, not for my work. It was totally for the people to whom work had been delegated. And I just created an atmosphere where people could work nicely. So what I would like to say is that total delegation works. I was a chap for 29 years of my life, never delegated. But when I started delegating, had more time for myself and doing a lot more. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that beautiful answer, sir. And a big round of applause for you for both your awards, your national awards. And so, from what we understood here is you said 29 years you were not able to delegate work, and then later you started delegating, which means that you were able to get more time for yourself. Also, you were able to empower people with your, who were working with you. And you said it's not just about delegating, strategic delegation. It's not just about delegating the work to the second level, but also to the bottom level. So that have everybody in the team understanding from what you've said now. Thank you so much for that. Sir, can we go with the next question?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. What do you think are the key factors leaders should consider when they are deciding to delegate work to people and to whom to delegate? What do you think?
Yeah, thank you. That means to what should you delegate and to whom? This I can answer in very shortly. What can be delegated is everything, almost everything. And to whom? And to every possible person. But to this, I would like to add one more thing: when to delegate. When you already the system is already running and you want to start with this strategic delegation, you should not do it overnight, because it has to be done at a slow pace. In my own case, what I had done is, when I had taken over, I did not change anything overnight. So initially, I took first, I went around knowing what exactly and how the things were working in that factory. I said everything continues the same way as it was doing before. So what I first did was, after that, I slowly changed the style of working of the factory. Once in a week, on Saturday, there used to be something called the production meeting or something, and that used to go on endlessly. So instead of that, I changed the style of meetings. We used to work from 7 to 2. That was our working hours. And because afternoon we're going into PT and other things, I used to call by 8 o'clock. I used to ask all my 5 group captains who were number 2. This was just to I have to tell them what was the things going on, just briefing them and getting from them some things which everybody should know. It was not about discussing what was particularly in their division. And that was a very short meeting. After that meeting, I used to go around the factory and things like that, and gain what was happening. And I used to spend time on the shop floor, understanding what was actually happening. And I found that though it was only 7 to 2 was the working hours, everybody was a selected chap who went there. They wanted to do well. The whole factory sometimes was working in the afternoon also, which I really felt was not necessary. But I did not tell them not to work in the afternoons. All I told is, after 1 month, I said, I am not coming to work in the afternoon, because 7 to 2 is the official working hours. But if you want to work, go ahead and work. After 2 weeks, the group captains felt, the boss is not here, why should we be here? So this percolated down the line. And another 1 week later, the wing commanders who are division heads, they said, our 2 bosses are not here, why are we working here? All said and done, within a short period of about 3 weeks, the entire lot of people who have been called for working in the afternoon stopped. Factory started working at 7 o'clock and up to talk, because sufficient number of people were there. What was happening is because of this part about not, having to come in the afternoon, people are whiling away timing in the morning. Now, with this on, people were happy, they could do their home thing, and when they were at the work spot, they were doing the best. So, like that, when you delegate, you got time to innovate and do. And that is what helps in when to delegate. It should not be done immediately. Progressively, it must be done, and you must make the people understand. And another thing which I did is once a week, I used to call all the officers. Before making any changes, I'll say, these are the changes I would like to make, and what is your opinion about it? Obtain the opinion of and make each and every one party to it. It is not a decision ordered from the top. Okay.
All right. Oh, I just love that you not going to work. And because of that, the other people also, after 2 o'clock, you said you wouldn't work, and the other people also stopped working after 2 o'clock because their boss was not working. I thought that was such a cool way to do something. Instead of telling people not to do it, I just think you showed it through your action and they followed. That was fascinating, sir. So here, what we take away here is, apart from what to delegate and whom to delegate, every time the conversation is around that. So here we have an extra thing of the third W, when to delegate. So I think that is very crucial as well. Thank you so much for that. And the next question for you, sir, is what role do you think trust plays in effective delegation, especially when you're doing it in high responsibility roles? What role does trust play?
See, without trust, total delegation is just not possible. It has got to work both ways. One is you must make yourself approachable so that people can open up to you and tell you if they got any problem. What I used to say is everything is totally delegated, but if anything goes wrong, I must be the first person to know. And if you do that, you will not get into any problem because I will cover up for you. I don't want it to know from a third party or it goes up the line and comes down. That is not acceptable. With the result, the minute anything went wrong, they used to open up and I used to get a call first. Things were rectified. And even if I did get a call from the top, I said, yeah, I know about it. It's been rectified already. So this trust has got to go both ways.
That is so beautiful. You trusting them and they trusting you. So where they own up for their mistake and you stand side by side with them to help them out with it.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful perspective, sir. Thank you so much. And the next one, how do you think, how can senior leaders ensure accountability while delegating authority down the chain?
You see, when you're delegating, you are delegating authority. Now, if you delegate responsibility also, that is not delegation, it's known as abdication.
Okay.
You are letting go of everything. But the right way to do it is authority must always be delegated, but responsibility should always rest with you. That means you are responsible for what is happening down the line. So for that, you have to ensure that you got your own feedback mechanism and you, like a rudderman, only apply slight corrections where required, but not interfering in the work as such. So more thing is you have to, if something goes wrong, you have to accept the responsibility. And if you say, I will crucify the chap who did it, it's of no use.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And thank you so much for that question, sir. Can we do the last question for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you share a challenge you faced in delegation during your tenure as a CEO or as a chief engineer? And how did you go about resolving the challenges you faced?
No, I can, there have been a few, but one thing I can talk about is when I had started delegating it, see, the purchases are made by the chief of logistics. Now, others are mostly onto engineering jobs. this can be a tricky area because in Air Force, what we got also most of the items come from various depots, but we also have what is known as the local purchase. Now, in local purchase, I found that the person who was there was not fully, somebody whom could be trusted. So this is a delicate situation, and Air Force, every single thing has got to be signed by the top person. That means you are responsible for any expenditure from the smallest to the biggest. So you have to be very, very careful. And without local purchase, you cannot manage because a lot of things have to be purchased and a lot of money is there. So I found certain things were not okay. So what I did is, instead of making the local purchase coming under the chief logistics officer, I transferred one logistics officer whom I knew to be an honest chap directly under me. And I said, for the rest of the logistics function, the chief of the logistics does. Whereas, as far as the local purchase was concerned, this officer plus the accounts officer, only they were involved. And of course, the final things come. So you have to apply certain corrective measures. You cannot blindly delegate everything to everybody. So you have to know who is who. You have to be moving around. So Dr. Abdul Kalam had a thing that management by wandering. And management by wandering is when he used to visit his labs, normally he's taken a quick around and rest of the day is all PPTs. He says, no, I don't want PPTs. For most of the time, I'll go around and see, and I want PPTs to be very short. I'd rather see it. That changed the whole thing of BRDU. So similarly, you are getting involved in the complete working of the system is absolutely must. You are knowing people. All these are very much there. And you have to assess people. You cannot blindly delegate. And when such thing comes, you do not stop delegating. You have to find alternate means of delegation, like the example I gave. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Amazing, sir. Yeah, that makes sense. Where you move around with people, you understand people, you assess them before you delegate instead of delegating blindly. And after delegation, if you think there are some challenges, then again, you change your mode of delegation. So you change what you delegate. So that's again a very insightful perspective. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for your time. We learned a lot, and I just love that who, what, apart from that, when to delegate. So, yeah, that made a lot of sense. Thank you so much for that. It's an honor to be with you today here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the asking the right questions at the right time. And I hope I've been able to answer your questions.
Absolutely. I'm convinced, and I'm sure everybody here are convinced as well. We've learned a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Great, great. Thanks, Ms. Shivaleela, for doing a wonderful panel discussion. And sir, it was really wonderful hearing you all the experiences about the delegation, right? And yes, I can really take out one learning that being vigilant is something is very important, right? See, the more you are vigilant about things, the more proactive you are, then you can take the right decision in delegating the right responsibilities to the right people. Thanks for sharing it, sir. So here comes a small quiz, and for which I would like to invite our quiz leader, Mr. Kevin. So let's see what people have understood and learned from this talk in last 35 minutes. So over to you, Kevin, for a quick question, please.
So hope it is audible to you. Thank you, Pankaj ji, for the opportunity, and thank you, sir, for the wonderful insights. And thank you, Shivaleela, for the panel discussion, things like it. And here is a question, and the question is on the chat. And also read the question. According to our speaker, when to delegate the task? When we can delegate all the sudden, slowly setting up the path, brief the team members about the task, understand the work that is to be delegated, then delegate the task. And the last option is both B and C. So let's see who gives us the correct answer. Let's wait for some time. probably we are popping up with few answers over here, and we got the correct answer.
So who's the winner,
It's
Kevin, as per you?
Alagu Lakshmanan is the person who has given us the correct answer.
Oh, then we congratulate Miss Alagu for being the winner today. And the winner for today's quiz will get the book written by Dr. Shankar Vishwanath, and the title of the book is The Step Up Advantage. So many
Thank you so much.
congratulations, Miss Alagu.
Thank you.
Thank
And you
you
also
for
get
the
a
opportunity.
bonus opportunity to unmute yourself and ask one quick question to our guest.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Job, for accepting, for being today's guest of honor. We're all honored by your presence here. One small doubt I had was when you said you had, for the local purchase, you had included another person in the team. So
Yeah.
was he responsible for it, or I just wanted to understand how that worked, including him in the team?
See, the earlier system was you had the chief of logistics under whom the local purchase officer used to work.
Mm-hmm.
His annual confidential report would be raised by the chief logistics officer.
Mm.
So he was used to be under some pressure from the chief logistics officer. What I had made was some slight organizational changes. And of course, the accounts officer is always involved. So what has happened is the accounts officer, then the logistics officer buys, the accounts officer makes the bill and all that. It goes to the senior logistics officer for preliminary approval. And for final approval, it is to come to me. So the chief logistics officer had a lot of say in where it is to be purchased from. So that was the pleasure. And we are not very sure whether the cheapest would be there. Now, with this change in this organization, the local purchase officer came no more under the chief logistics officer.
Okay.
He was reporting directly to me.
Okay. Okay.
So without any fear, and I was filling his annual confidential report.
Okay.
So net result was that he was doing well. He got a good report, and he was not scared of the chief logistics officer's threats.
Okay. Okay.
So certain times you have to do some organizational changes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Lagu. Thank you, sir, for the answer to the question. So I leave the forum open for 2 to 3 questions. So anyone from the forum would like to ask question, please unmute yourself, and we can have maximum 2 questions, right? 2 to 3. So please, you can raise your hand, unmute yourself, and ask the question. And if not, then we can move forward. Any questions? Arul, can you please check?
Can
All
I
is
also
clear.
ask?
Yes, please, Shivaleela. Yes.
You can. You have all the privilege today, Shivaleela.
No, this has been one question on my mind. Sir, like just say you were delegating work to somebody. Okay, you've chosen a particular person, you've worked with the person, you know their talent, what are their strength, weakness, everything you know. Based on that assessment, you've delegated a work to them. You know their expertise, all of that, you've delegated the work. But you think they are reluctant to do that work and they are not willing to do that work. They don't turn up, they don't show up. Then how do you handle that?
No, in organization like I was in, you have a pyramidal structure. For in that structure to work, it has to remain within the structure as far as possible, unless something abnormal happens. Therefore, I had 5 group captains who were division heads. I delegated to all of them. They, in turn, I told you delegate downwards. This went down the line. So during my visits and their visits, you find an oddball, or something is not going correctly. Either you correct it, or move him sideways if possible, or change his division. There has to be some reason why it's not working. Go into the depth of why that particular thing is not working, and rather than just totally sidelining him, see whether he can fit in somewhere else. Maybe there are some restrictions which is not making him play the ball. But you'll find that the cases like what I told you are very, very rare. Once you start trusting people and the total delegation is there, there is no fear of punishment. All that has got to be said is you're empowered to do things. So with that, people do give much, much more than that they normally would.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Pankaj, you can unmute.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, Arul, I believe we can invite our summary leader then. If
We
you
have
don't-
one more question from
Yeah.
HR
Yes,
Shilpa. Yes. Hi.
Yeah, please unmute yourself and ask.
yeah. Good evening, sir. It's a great session. So I just have one question. Like when you delegate the task between the two team members, say they are of equal level. So have you faced or come across any ego clashes between the two team members where work got affected?
You see, in the type of organization I was working in, the various roles were very, very clear cut. And it very rarely overlapped on somebody else. Because if somebody was the head of the aircraft division, there was another person who was looking after logistics. There was another person who was looking after planning and things like that. Of course, certain amount of clashes would take place. That is why I used to have that meeting every morning at after 1 hour after the work starts. There is a very short meeting. If there was something concerning interpersonal or other things, those sort of things were thrashed out there rather than allowing it to simmer. Certain times, there are times when you have to call them separately, find out what is the friction like, and apply band-aid or whatever you got to do. So it's not always that everything is smooth sailing. These sort of HR related matters would be there in any organization. But luckily for me, I had a 3-year tenure in HR of Indian Air Force. And that taught me a lot of things. So because of that experience, I was able to handle these sort of HR related problems. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Arul, I believe now we can move forward with our summary leader, right? So, I
Yes.
invite our summary leader, Dr. Aishwarya. So, Dr. Aishwarya, over to you for the quick summary, please.
Hi, good evening all. This is Aishwarya. So I'm doing my freelance corporate trainings and I'm doing 360-degree leadership assessments as well. So coming to the summary of today's topic is all about strategic delegation of leadership. Delegation is not something new for our discussion, but it is all about strategic delegation. So what is the difference between this delegation and strategic delegation? So delegation is the act of assigning the task and responsibilities to others, while strategic delegation specifically focuses on aligning the task with the skills and strength of the team members, ensuring the right person and working on the right task. So strategic delegation cannot be done at overnight. It has to be decided what to delegate and when to delegate. Trust plays a vital role in strategic delegation. While doing strategic delegation, if anything went wrong, both of the people equal responsibility in giving clarity to that. It is all about they trust you and you trust them. Right way to delegate the thing is the authority should be delegated rather than the responsibility. Before delegate, you have to assess instead of delegating the task blindly. Once it is not working, you have to have a look on delegation. Once again, it has to be done. So overall, summarizing the content is the strategic approach helps leaders to focus on higher level priorities, empowers employees, and can lead to the better outcome. Thank you. So that's the end of today's summary.
Thank you.
Great,
Well,
Dr.
sir.
Aishwarya.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank
Well
you so much,
summarized.
sir. Thank you. I think I have summarized all your points, sir.
Okay.
Great, Dr. Ishwarya. You've really done a
Thank you.
good, I
Thank you
mean,
so much.
the kind of
Thank
smile you
you.
can see on the sir's face that describes it all, actually. That's how you did.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity, Pankaj. So thank you.
Right. So here I would like to invite Miss Pooja for the vote of thanks, please. So that move forward. So over to you, Miss Pooja, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. And really, we had a very wonderful session. And Shivaleela, you nailed it. And yes, thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Sri Aleki Pooja. I'm Charisma Empowerment Trainer and Coach. Let me quickly share again the purpose of the community. First, let me quickly share once again. It's like this is the Thriving Leadership Community. Leaders Connect 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We are a hybrid model leadership community bringing together leaders every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., where experts in their fields provide solutions to real-time leadership challenges, just like the valuable insights we received today from our esteemed guest, CMDE T T Job Director, Axel India. Every last week of the month, we take a deeper dive into the knowledge by inviting authors to share insights from their books, helping us grow as leaders and lifelong learners. I extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest for his thought provoking insights and our wonderful panel discussion leader, Ms. Shivaleela, and our dynamic moderator, Mr. Pankaj, for leading such a valuable discussion today. And now, as a small token of our appreciation, we present a special thank you video to express our gratitude. See you next Wednesday. Until then, keep leading and keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pooja. Can we have the thanking video, please? Thank you, Arun. Thank you so much. And I thank you all once again for joining in. Let's meet next week, next Wednesday, 6:30 again for the Leaders Connect episode 0208. Right. So now over to you, Arun, for the next.